Questions surrounding Mayor Scott's youth curfew. His answers just 3 weeks away from its start date. The Archbishop under fire as new documents reveal more about who may have covered up years of sex abuse. The demands survivors are making as calls for the Archbishop's resignation heat up. And the Prince George's County executive throwing her name in the hat for the Senate with her potential announcement. We look at how the crowded field is shaping up.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Tonight, we are less than 3 weeks away from Memorial Day weekend and the start date of Mayor Scott's youth curfew. It comes as just last week, police charged a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old with the murder of the T-Mobile store employee. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell questioned the mayor this afternoon on how it will be implemented and enforced.
We've been asking the mayor for the details of his curfew plan since he announced this back on Easter. Now it's possible we may not see it until Memorial Day weekend when this curfew is said to go into effect. This based on his response to me here today.
No más violencia! No más violencia!
Calls for justice and action as family and friends remember 23-year-old Fabian Sanchez Gonzalez.
I miss my brother every single day. Every second.
The T-Mobile employee who police say was shot and killed by two teens as they robbed the store off Boston Street in Canton.
They had the audacity, tenían el atrevimiento, that while he lay there, que mientras él estaba ahí, they were still robbing the people, the customers that were in the store.
The brazenness of the crime and ages of the suspects, 14 and 18 years old, reigniting demands for more to be done to address Baltimore's youth crime crisis.
It's deeply concerning for the future, and so kids are growing up now in an environment where in many cases there's no accountability at home, and increasingly there's no accountability anywhere else either. So there's a feeling, the perception, or the reality that kids can do what they want and nothing will happen.
Leaders have stressed addressing this youth crime crisis will involve an all-hands-on-deck approach. One action, the mayor has announced a youth curfew, but how it will be implemented and enforced, still unclear.
The complexity of dealing with violence isn't just as simple as one playground. It isn't just as simple as one school, but it's not also as just simple as one policy.
Today we caught up with the mayor as he announced the unveiling of the first of a series of rec center groundbreakings to ask for the details.
Memorial Day is when it will start, and Memorial Day is when we'll be showing everybody what we're and how we're going to be doing and joining in a more evolved way than we have before.
So we're not going to see it until Memorial Day. Are we going to see it before Memorial Day?
So I'll say this again, maybe in a different way, Alexa. This is nothing new in Baltimore. Curfew is something, curfew laws have been on the books, enforcement has been on the books, and have been doing that for many, many years.
Baltimore City Councilman Zeke Cohen expressing some concern as to just how effective the curfew will be. A law enforcement expert agrees.
I'm not fully compelled that they, in and of themselves, reduce violence. I think that it's sort of a mixed bag when you look at both effectiveness of implementation. Also, again, knowing that we, along with many other cities, are experiencing an officer shortage, I do have concerns. That being said, though, look, I think that Mayor Scott is sincere when he says that this is about we're not leaving kids behind.
There has to be some accountability. There has to be correction in behavior. And again, if a kid is not getting that at home, it needs to come from somewhere, or we're going to just see a continued growth in youth violence.
So we're seeing cases of juveniles on both sides of the gun, so to speak. To date, so far this year, there have been 10 juvenile homicides. Another more than 30 young people have been shot but survived. Reporting in Northwest Baltimore, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
The Canton shooting would not have been affected by the curfew, as that happened during the day. But tonight, the family of Fabian Sanchez Gonzalez is saying the Department of Juvenile Services has failed them. Sources telling Fox 45 News that his accused killer, 18-year-old Arthur McCadden, was under supervision by DJS. McCadden is now being held without bond. It comes as a recent report from the Maryland Attorney General's office revealed widespread failures and flaws within the department. We asked Governor Wes Moore for his response. He says he has called for a top-to-bottom review of the agency. In a statement sent to Fox 45, Governor Moore says in part that his newly appointed DJS secretary has, quote, already replaced the head of residential operations and the superintendents of two of the most troubled facilities. He and his chief of staff have also opened offices in both of those facilities, all while the department has reduced the vacancy rate among faculty frontline staff from 18 in January to 12% as of March. New details after Baltimore police announced an arrest in connection to a shooting last month. Detectives say 26-year-old Terrell Parker is responsible and that he is a violent repeat offender. He has been charged with first-degree attempted murder. Police believe on April 21st he shot a 23-year-old man in the back in the Eastern District. That victim was taken to a hospital in critical condition.
That's another reason why we feel Lori has to go. He has repeatedly said to his parishioners, to the city of Baltimore, to the state, that this is a thing of the past.
Renewed calls today for Baltimore's Archbishop William Lori to resign following media reports that revealed the names of several alleged abusers and now officials who may have knew about the abuse and covered it up. Fox 45's Amy Simpson is taking a look at the new demands from survivors.
Several new names revealed in recent days after last month's report from the Attorney General on the investigation into child sex abuse in the Archdiocese of Baltimore.
These people have to be accountable.
Steps from the Baltimore Basilica today.
And we call on Lori today.
New demands for action and transparency from the Archdiocese of Baltimore.
We have to go after not only the perpetrators, but those who are protecting the perpetrators.
Media reports in recent days revealing the names of several alleged abusers.
It's reality, right?
But also identifying Catholic Church officials who allegedly knew about the abuse. Some of them still working inside Maryland parishes.
They are high-ranking officials that had little or no regard for victims. They were driven and motivated purely to protect the institution and the priests who were abusers.
Today's SNAP, the survivors network of those abused by priests.
You move from being a victim to survivor.
Making 4 demands of the Archdiocese. Remove the 5 newly named church officials from ministry. Reveal all redacted names from the Attorney General's report. Call for the resignation of Archbishop Lori. And identify recent behavior within Maryland's Catholic Church that protects abusers.
I don't have a lot of confidence that these demands will be met. I think Lori should resign. I think that's clear, and the only way he's going to resign is if the parishioners put pressure on him.
Advocates for the victims and survivors of abuse say it's up to Catholics around Maryland to demand more transparency and change inside the church.
There are 2 parts to this. There are the perpetrators, the ones who actually did this, but the other part is the cover-up, and that's the part that we have to address. That's the systemic part of the Catholic Church's policy, and that's what has to change.
The Archdiocese of Baltimore has released several lengthy written statements after that AG report came out last month. The Archdiocese apologized to victims and vowed transparency, but no new response from the Archdiocese today related to these demands from SNAP or calls for the Archbishop's resignation. Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Well, new tonight, Prince George's County Executive Angela Also Brooks could launch her campaign for Senate this week. That is according to Time. In 2018, she was the first woman elected as Prince George's County Executive. She instantly became a front runner in the most densely Democratic county. With Senator Ben Cardin announcing he will not seek re-election, the Democratic primary field is expected to be crowded. It already includes Montgomery County Council member Will Jawando, perennial socialist candidate Jerome Siegel, and Democratic Congressman David Trone, who as of now would be also Brooks' biggest and best funded competitor. Well, the first major endorsement in the 2024 race for City Council President, Comptroller Bill Henry, is backing City Councilman Zeke Cohen. In a statement, Henry says that Cohen is the kind of leader that brings together everybody in the room, room and helps them find ways to move the city forward. Today, Fox 45 News spoke with political analyst John Deedy about the race and the impact the comptroller's endorsement could have.
For a fact that you have someone who has challenged the mayor before on a variety of things, choosing to back Zeke Cohen, this helps Cohen out as far as reaching into a variety of communities in the city of Baltimore. It may also help him a little bit with fundraising. The fact that people say, you know, if Bill Henry backs him, I'm comfortable donating money to Zeke Cohen. It helps him out a great deal.
So far, Cohen and current City Council President Nick Mosby are the only two to announce a bid for this seat. The winner also gets a powerful seat next to Henry on the Board of Estimates. New laws are being enacted right now in Maryland. This afternoon, Governor Moore signed nearly 200 pieces of legislation into law. The bills focus on economic development, state and local taxes, Maryland's natural resources, transportation, and agriculture. The Texas driver accused of crashing through a crowd of migrants facing charges, what the governor is saying as tensions intensify surrounding migrant treatment. Snapchat entering the AI game. Next, why parents say the app's newest feature is dangerous for children.
Developing right now, the driver in a fatal crash outside of a Texas migrant shelter has been charged with manslaughter. Officials say 34-year-old George Alvarez lost control after running a red light Sunday morning. His SUV flipped and plowed through a crowd of Venezuelan migrants. He's now been charged with 8 counts of manslaughter and 10 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Police now estimate 18 people were hit by that car. Texas lawmakers are speaking out about border security and migrant treatment as the governor deploys the National Guard.
Because of the circumstances, there's a massive ongoing investigation. What we're focused on is trying to stop people coming across the border illegally.
They're one of the lucky few that actually made it to our borders. And at a point where they should be able to breathe easy and be safe, we failed them as a state. We failed them and weren't able to protect them. And they were mowed down. Their lives were taken. Their families' hopes were taken.
Alvarez's bail has been set at $3.6 million. Investigators say they're now focused on determining if the crash was intentional.
Making headlines tonight, jury deliberations will soon begin as closing arguments wrap up in the civil trial against former President Donald Trump. A lawyer for E. Jean Carroll, the writer accusing Trump of raping her at a department store in the 90s, said in her 75-minute closing argument that no one, not even a former president, is above the law. Trump's lawyer calling Carroll's story ridiculous and disgusting, saying it was made up. The former president has denied all wrongdoing. Deliberations could begin as soon as tomorrow. A new poll showing President Biden's approval rating at an all-time low. The new ABC News poll shows Trump leading Biden 44% to 38% in a possible rematch. The remaining 18% are undecided. Biden's also trailing Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis 42% to 37%, with 21% undecided. DeSantis has not yet formally announced a run for president. Well, one of the most popular social media apps for youth causing controversy, Snapchat, recently released a new AI feature. The National Desk's Didi Gatton has a closer look at why some parents say they're concerned.
Behind a new Snapchat feature is a chatbot running the latest version of OpenAI's GPT technology. It can offer recommendations and answer questions. We tested it out. We asked what to get for Mother's Day and got several suggestions, from flowers to a spa day. Now, another question posed as a 16-year-old asked what to do if wanting to change genders. The response including finding a therapist, talking to a medical professional, and taking your time. Some other questions didn't include an age, like how to roll a cigarette.
So I think that this is very dangerous, and I think it's something that parents ought to be very aware of. And so don't be fooled by the fact that there are some innocuous, non-dangerous messages being sent to your children, because often they set the path for other sorts of communications and messages that are pretty dangerous and something that parents certainly do not want.
Under a new bipartisan proposal, companies like Meta, Google, and Twitter would be obligated to act against harmful content. Tech platforms would also be required to implement time-based restrictions and privacy features for those under 17 years old, those users. Snapchat is available to users age 13 and up. Reporting for the National Desk, I'm Didi Gatton.
All right, the Fox Triple Cast this evening showing the Mile 1 Taos Cam and the Toyota East Harbor Sky Cam. Go O's as we take on Tampa Bay this evening. And we are waiting on the next weather maker to move in after highs at 83 this afternoon. We're at 81 right now as we take a beautiful look in the background at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on that Toyota East Harbor Sky Cam shot. A lot of folks probably filing into the stadium, getting ready with some popcorn and maybe some libations. Winds out of the north at 8 miles an hour, humidity at 42%, and our dew point in the 50s. So it's actually fairly warm, but it's fairly comfortable. A lower measure of moisture in the air. It's actually been kind of dropping off all day. So you'd think, hey, you know, comfortable, dry, right? No rain. Well, no, that's not the case. Take a look at this disturbance off to our north and our northwest. It's making the beeline toward us. I guess the good news is we're getting out of that volatile air, so we're not seeing the severe thunderstorm watches that are in places like St. Louis this evening. Looks like they're going to be seeing some rowdy weather in central portions of Missouri down into Arkansas. But around here, the warmth does give way to cooler weather tonight and tomorrow especially, and some rain overnight into early tomorrow morning. That volatile weather will continue to sift its way towards the Piedmont of the Carolinas into Virginia. We are going to be cooler and showery for tomorrow. 81 now here in Baltimore, 77 at Cockeysville. Temperature statewide nice and warm after snow. Remember last week? Oakland, you're now at 68 with sunshine, 78 at Cumberland, and all the way down the shore. We've got down the Ocean Way, Ocean City now at 67 on the boardwalk, 81 at Salisbury. There's your cooler weather I was talking about that comes with the moisture. Chicago, Detroit, a little bulb of some of those cooler temperatures heading our way for tomorrow, at least briefly. This will not last long, but we do have that unfortunate change for the cooler and the wetter coming after midnight tonight. So the game is fine, but by 5 to 7 to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, on and off rain. Could have some wet roads to deal with all the way through about lunchtime. Then thereafter, maybe some partial clearing as we head toward later in the day, but temperatures go nowhere. 54 showers after midnight tonight as it becomes cloudy. You're going to have to change the way you dress for tomorrow. 60 cloudy, damp, much cooler morning and noontime showers. So umbrellas in the morning, maybe even a jacket during the afternoon. But things change. We're back towards the 80s again. I'm going to let you know how quickly that's going to happen. That's in my exclusive 10-day forecast in just minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Talk about divots. The groundskeeper at the Franklin Country Club in Nebraska has some work to do after hail created thousands of divots. Damage is estimated to be thousands of dollars. These are some of the best formed mammatus clouds you will ever see. They appeared in Cedar Rapids Sunday following a hailstorm. They form when pockets of cold air start to sink, forming the cloud shapes.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
The expiration date for Title 42 is just days away, with thousands of migrants ready to cross the Texas border. Coming up, officials' plans to help curb the overflow. In tonight's Assignment America, a projected surge of migrants arriving in San Antonio. Ahead of that, service members are arriving to help with logistics. It is all part of Title 42 ending a pandemic-era restriction on asylum-seeking migrants. Amanda Henderson with our Sinclair sister station has the latest.
Title 42 will officially expire on Thursday. The health order designed to stop the spread of COVID-19 has been in place since March 2020.
What I'm seeing right now is not a whole lot of a surge, but what we're seeing is projections of a massive surge.
Immigration attorney Lance Curtright says if projections are correct, thousands of migrants could soon be in San Antonio.
They're saying possibly 2,000 people coming through San Antonio a day, which would be higher than ever before.
San Antonio's Migrant Resource Center is currently over capacity. Catholic Charities manages the center that can hold around 700 people. CEO Antonio Fernandez says they are working to add more room.
I don't know if we have enough. I doubt it, but I hope we have enough.
Are there enough shelters in preparation for the surge that we could see when Title 42 finishes?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question right now. Is there enough capacity out there to take care of people coming? I don't know, and I don't know if anyone knows because we don't know how many people are coming.
Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro and Greg Casar announcing nearly $40 million to help provide shelter and food to migrants. Congressman Castro saying, Congressman Casar and I have worked closely with the Biden administration to emphasize the need for additional resources to support San Antonio's migrant response. Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez firing back tonight with his thoughts.
The answer isn't more throwing more money at the problem. The answer is enforcing the laws that are already on the books.
Well, Bexar County, Texas officials say they are working closely with city emergency management staff for the potential of more migrants coming to San Antonio. And as reported, U.S. military and Texas National Guardsmen are going to the border to help with logistics.
All right, the exclusive 10-day forecast, only, yes, 60 for tomorrow afternoon. That's the best we do with morning and midday showers. Going to be a damp and unsettled, kind of cool, clammy, gloomy day overall on our Tuesday. I think we'll get the O's game in, though, during the afternoon. It's going to be a jacket day, though. 73 on Wednesday, sunshine. Good looking. Thursday, Friday, good, too. 82. Could see a shower or spritz on Saturday, maybe later Sunday again. And then it looks like it turns gradually more unsettled and a lot cooler by the end of next week.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, finally tonight, incredible pictures of a wayward young bear helped home. Check this out in Rockville, where Maryland Natural Resources members caught up with a young bear that had been causing a bit of trouble. And while that's in Montgomery County, DNR wants you to know this is the time of year juveniles head out on the town and on their own for the first time and are in search of food. That means clean your grills after cooking out. If you keep your garbage cans outdoors, make sure they are bear resistant and latched. Also, don't leave food in your car. Guess what? The hungry bear will get in, and he has since been released and doing well. That's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here for the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.